Hello, everyone. I am so glad you are here with us. I'm going to start today off by saying it's been a really good day, a very cool day, and let you know what's happening, what's coming up here in the shop. So here we go. What's coming up? Well, tonight, after the store closes, I'll be teaching Herbalism Year 2. That is always a fun class. But on Saturday, we have a tour of the dark side. Oh, no, I apologize, not this Saturday. That's next Saturday, a week from this Saturday. She'll be doing, I believe it's the Vlad and Taylor show. It should be good. Sunday the 27th, we have our new Reiki share that if you're Reiki 1, 2, or 3 and you just want to come in and play with the energies, this is for you. It's a by donation event, so totally free theoretically, and you can just trade Reiki energies with people while you're here. I'll be here, I'll step in when I can, it's always fun. Another for donation class coming up on Sunday is our excellent palm readers class, Palmistry 101. It's always different, it's every month. I know people, I have friends who've gone out of their way to take his series of classes, not once, but twice, because the information was that valuable and that well presented. I totally recommend it. Of course, if you're here online, we'll do our Monday meditation. I'll do a Reiki one as well on Sunday. We'll talk about magic on Tuesday. Those are all quickies, they're 5 minutes or less. We'll do the big show. And on Thursday, we'll do an herb one. Thursday, the 31st, happy Halloween, is also the last in our, second to last in our Ifo Orisha series. Brilliant instructor on it, gets massively good reviews, really recommend the class if you can. And coming up in next month, the only thing I'm going to mention about next month until next week is the fabulous book launch party for Siri Vincent Booth and her wonderful book, Clearing the Rooms. Our copies are in. Come and grab yours today if you'd like. Come to the party, get it signed. We'll have some nosh, we'll have some chit chat. It will be a fun time. But that's what's coming up. So let's talk about what's coming in. Yesterday, and I did just yesterday, we got on our first order since way before COVID. Honeypot Candle Company's candles. So I've got the Lotus. These are all beeswax. I have the Venus of Willendorf. Isn't she gorgeous? These twisty candles. I've got this style and a slightly fatter style. Same size, roughly, same price, roughly. These are great gifts. I've got another candle maker coming in Louise to come in. And they also do tea towel Buddhas. The towel Buddha. And if you just want candle candles, but you really want beeswax, we've got you covered with their short candle, their short table candle, kind of comparable to our household candles, but beeswax. So be prepared, $14 for the pair, $7 a piece, basically. We had a new shipment come in of, see, it's decided that you're the important person. New shipment come in. The camera does that all by itself. We don't do that. New shipment of the brooms that Mary makes. I know she's one of many Marys, but several of her brooms. We also had our big book order come in from one of the publishers that we have to order from like 2 or 3 times a year basis right now. So come and get them while they're here. Everything from some really good looking tarot decks to some classics like some T-Thorn Coil titles. This is a Gramassi book, but Raven Gramassi passed away not too long ago. But creating a traditional witchcraft, fascinating topic. He dives in really deep. I love that one. I got the Anubis. Just it's not all like all the time we do things here. And if you want to get a little more clinical, Magic Mystics, great introduction to things like the Fibonacci series and other fun mathematical concepts and how they apply to ritual magic and work. We've also had a fantastic used book collection come in. These are some of the ones that I'll be honest, they're going to go online or in the collectibles case. But a lot of circa 1970 first editions, some hardcover, some paperback. So if you really want that old cover, we got you. In some cases, the books are still in print. You can get them for less. Just buy it new here. But if you want bottom that says Real Magic and it's original cover, gotcha. And how can you not love that cover from Moonchild by Alistair Crowley? That's just a cool cover. And this is your document. I've got one by Justine Glass. These work I have not seen for a minute or two. And against the Cosmic Triggers. It's a good book collection. It was really well cared for. I'm going to warn you, some of the stuff in the case is worth hundreds. You got to want the first edition hardcover to pay the price, but totally worth it. And for anybody interested in how we price our used books, we go online where we sell to the places we sell used books, the formats we use. We compare the quality of the book and the title of the book to what's already out there, and then we underbid them slightly. So you're getting the best deal, frankly, when you do buy a used book from us that's in that collectible standard. And for us, that's over $20. Anything under $20 can wind up just on our regular used book shelves. So that's fun happenings, that's cool stuff. And I bring the poster in every week in the hopes it will remind me to say to you, why we have readers. So I said on Sunday, Chris is going to be teaching his Poetry 101 class, a fantastic class. Goes through so much work to get that well prepped for you guys. He is our palm reader, he's our divinatory reader on Sundays, and he's generally here starting at about noon until about 5, reading palms. Obviously, people show up for that class. I haven't checked to see what the enrollment looks like. He will only be here reading palms till 4 because he'll be teaching from 4 on. Mondays, we have Paul coming in to do dream interpretation, and he does have some tips for how to remember your dreams better. There's a list of 10 things over by a reader's area if you're interested in figuring out how to have dreams that you remember so they can be interpreted by somebody, you or Paul, or a book. Gotcha. Raven Wolf, who has been our wonderful substitute for Tracy, is in on the days that she used to be here. He's here from 3 to 6 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and noon to 2, sometimes a little later on Saturdays. Friday, Winter, our wonderful newest reader, is here from 1 to 5. I highly recommend their readings. All the readers are at $2.50 a minute plus tax, and of course we'll ask if you're interested in tipping, so they can get that as well. And there are charts on the wall that tell you what the grand total will be for the reading, tax included, when you're here. So I've done all the things. I told them I've done all the things, which means we get to talk about life in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and what it's like to own a bookstore there. So can you introduce yourself and tell all the peoples?
Sure. My name is Cindy Moe. My partner Eric and I own Mind, Body, Spirit in downtown St. Cloud. And Liz was just there and did a great herbal class for us, and we're going to get her back there as soon as we can. We've owned the store for about 16 months. We bought it last June. So, the store's been there since 2002. And women that owned it were just ready to retire, so it was going to close if they didn't sell. And then they made it so easy for us to buy it because they really didn't want to see it close. And it's really super grateful to be there. It's been amazing.
I think that's one of the hardest things is if you're ready to step away, finding someone who will put their own spin on it, but still carry on the basic mission of the shop. That's a big challenge. I mean, it is the reason Roger sold to employees, is because he wanted people he knew that understood his vision and would carry on the traditions of the shop. And I love that you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
Roger, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is the founder of Megas Books. But so, had you owned businesses before this?
No, I was a teacher for over 20 years, teaching at the university level. And so, no, neither Eric or I have. Well, I have a little bit of retail experience because my former husband and I ran a camp up in Ely. So that was a long time ago. But that had a bookstore, or not a bookstore, sorry, a gift shop. So there was some retail there. And then, of course, working with the camp itself was learning how to, track inventory, how to order, how wholesale works, and all of that kind of stuff. So, but no, it's really been kind of straight to fire with this. I've made a lot of mistakes and have a learning curve that goes straight up like a rocket bus. But that's okay. I mean, we knew that there would be some bumps along the way, and it's been great. I'm going to see our friend Nancy, who's working. Hi, Nancy. Just as hello. She's working for me at the store today, so I could be here. So that's awesome.
Which means that she's responsible for some of the stuff that's going to be in the store soon.
Yes, she is.
I love that. I'm not going to mention it, not an associate, but yes, you're going to want to step in because I got a very limited supply of some very cool stuff.
Yes. She's a very talented woman, and she's,
And if it lasts a week, I'll feature it next Wednesday, but it's not gonna last. I'm gonna tell you now, especially since you're watching, it's not going to last a week. I don't even have to tell people it's here, it's gone, but before I come back on Sunday, I promise. That whole batch you made, yeah, we would take a whole batch.
Yeah. There we go, yes. You're gonna have plenty to do this next moon cycle.
So what has been like the most challenging thing that you faced? And what's been the best part of starting to run Mind, Body, Spirit up in St. Cloud?
That's a great question. The most challenging thing is just learning. There's just a lot to learn, not just about the shop itself and the retail, but also the crystals, which I thought I knew some things about. I swear to God, I know less now than I knew 16 months ago. It seems to be the way my brain is working lately. But so that's been, just the practical hands-on stuff has been a lot of work. The best thing has been by far the people. I mean, that's what Eric and I are the most interested in, is a community of people who are kind of making all of these shifts and changes. The world is changing around us, whether you want to call it awakening, ascension, evolution, which is spiritual evolution tends to be my favorite way to look at it. People who come into the store with questions, and I have to censor myself there.
Yeah.
I don't have to be careful what I say. I'm not going to offend people if I talk about my own spirituality or hearing about theirs, and sometimes just encouraging them, and that really makes my day. The people that come in, that's what I love the most.
Yeah, no, I'm always amazed at the degree to which, even if somebody's like, I don't know what to do, I need help, I need guidance figuring out stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that they do, and they just don't recognize it yet, and that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
So we start talking about whatever the issue is, like my house is haunted, or I'm having an issue at work, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and they want to apply a little willpower, a little magic to it, and we're like, and as we talk, they come to their conclusions.
Right.
Independently.
Right.
That's just glorious to see.
It is, and it takes a lot of pressure. I mean, you probably feel this too. It takes the pressure off me. I mean, I've taught for a long time. So there's a part of me that always wants the right answer.
Yeah.
But all I have to do is redirect people back to themselves. They really do
Yeah,
know.
they do.
Sometimes they have to get some egoic, cultural, social stuff out of the way. And, that's really, everybody's going through those shifts right now. We all are. So it's really, and it's great. A lot of times people come in and they'll really encourage me when I'm like, wow, I didn't realize I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not definitely just that energy doesn't go
Oh,
just one direction.
It's for sure, it's definitely. And by the way, when it comes to the stones, I still look them up online.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Just to make sure I'm getting you not just what's in the back of my brain, but also it matters what the zeitgeist is saying too.
Right.
And I might not know what the zeitgeist is saying. They
Right.
might have all shifted the meaning slightly towards some adjective that's always been there, but now it's the adjective that matters.
Yeah.
So now there's 5 related words, and that changes the way you look at the stone when you see some of that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it matters, and it's also because it's the way society is looking at the thing at the time, that can lend credence, it can lend strength to your own view of the stone. It reinforces your own thought process about it sometimes, and that has value when you're working with something that you're using to amplify your willpower.
Right.
That you're using to put yourself in that position that sets you up for a better life.
Right. Yeah.
And thank you for making more.
Yes.
Saw that message.
Yeah.
But I don't want to connect you too closely to the product, but we're going to get into it next week, if there's any left. There won't be. Folks, you want to see what it's.
I have to grab 4. We'll get you more as soon as there's more to get.
If they make it through the next 2 days, I'm impressed. So, all right, I love that. Now, you said the store has been there for a long time. Yeah, I remember the previous owners have taught there.
Sure.
Under them.
Yep.
They came down and took a few classes from me. Actually, 15 years ago, and I know this because they did it when I had to teach my herbal series at home because I was on maternity leave.
Makes it easy to keep track, doesn't it? Yeah.
He is 15. For those of you who remember a tiny creature running through the store like a wild thing, that creature's 15.
It's going to be driving soon.
Yes, as long as driving straight.
Mhm.
So what is in store for you guys up in St. Cloud? Any plans, any big events coming up for you guys?
Well, we have a few classes, like there's a drum making, event on November 9th. There's only a couple seats left.
Oh, that
So
was
you
fun.
can go to Mind, Body, Spirit, St. Cloud, stcloud.com and look at the website, go under classes and events, and that's your opportunity to sign up for that. That's we had to limit the number of people that could come.
Yep.
And so there aren't that many spaces, but we'll have a full slate of classes after the new year too. Those aren't all settled yet, but that schedule should be showing up by the end of November, so people can see those classes. So we do have somebody from this area that would like to teach some. I think it's Holy Fire, right?
Nice.
One weekend, a weekend, or possibly 2 weekends for that. What else are we doing? Some sound healing stuff. Yeah, I know I'm forgetting something major. Oh, okay, nobody is.
That's okay.
I'm sure they know what that's for.
That's like that. Go to My Body Spirit St. Cloud, and we'll see what's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
And I have to say, if you are going to just like go on a little road trip and check out this store, there's a couple stores up there that specialize in this kind of merchandise that are both worth checking out. And because Mind, Body, Spirit is right downtown on Germain, sorry, I went to high school in St. Cloud and most of 8th grade. So the old stomping grounds. So the main drag in the downtown area is Germain. They're right on Germain. There's a great tea shop up there with some very cute stuff. Especially if you are Richie inclined, I'll be honest. There's a good, in the other direction from Mind, Body, Spirit up there, there is a good shop for pastries. And because I went into the tea shop thinking I would get a snack. Did not get a snack because they told me they got rid of their bakery case and their seating during COVID.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Yikes. So I took my cup of tea and walked past Mind, Body, Spirit to go to the other place.
Was it Joel's?
Yes.
At the end of the corner,
At the
Joel's
corner.
Bistro. Oh,
Yeah.
so good. So good.
I got a delicious pastry.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
exactly the snack I needed because I was teaching from 11 to 2, so
Yeah.
no lunch. But the pastry and the tea were perfect for the day. It was fabulous. So it's a nice place to just kick around a little bit, and it's not too far from Munsinger Gardens, which if it's warm out, is a nice place to do
Oh,
a
yeah,
tour
it's
of the
beautiful.
flowers and things. So I recommend just going up and kind of the way you might go to Red Wing for the day, and just see what it's like and hang out with it.
Yeah, come on up. Check out Paramount too. The Paramount, we're right next to the Paramount, and they have events there all the time, all the time. There's great music, great plays.
It's
So
a very
yeah.
noisy band warming up as we
Yes, yes. It was. We can hear them through the walls and they can smell our sage through the walls, so that's works too.
That works out in the long run. So what would be your, like, and I ask people in the interview for jobs here too, this question, what part of the store was like, that's my part of the store? What part of the store is like your train set, your little passion?
Yeah, well, I love the different, pantheons of gods. So we have some things in the store that are from the Hindu pantheon, and some from Egyptian pantheon, and I have a seminary degree. So just how religions emerge and how those pantheons emerge, and then what those. I have people come in. I had a gentleman come in last week who's identifies as a Norse pagan, but he's like, Hecate is really reaching out to me right now, and I know I need to know more about Hecate. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that it's these spiritual beliefs don't run in one direction either, but they all end up, it seems, in the same place, and so that's a huge turn on for me. I love that part of it. So yeah, so the classes, that my chances to learn, I didn't get to sit into your class because Nancy was in it. She's the only other person that knows how to run the till. So we have to draw straws to see who gets to do what classes, but so it's just, yeah, so everything too around the education and events and all that stuff, anything that brings people in that I get to talk to, that makes me happy.
And we're kind of the same way because we also have a sort of around the world approach to the book selection.
Yeah, yep.
And one of my favorite things about being here, even way back in the day when Roger still owned the shop, which, hi Roger, see you tomorrow, is the fact that we get somebody who had been a Buddhist monk, having a conversation with an atheist, who was also talking to somebody from a Norse path or a pagan path of some kind. Those are the most interesting conversations to me because you start to appreciate each other's perspectives.
Right.
And just that having that alternate viewpoint gets you to see what you're doing a little differently. It gets you to appreciate pieces that maybe you just weren't paying attention to.
Right, exactly.
And they're there, they're not emphasized in that tradition, but they are emphasized over in this other one.
Right.
I love that conversation, that sort of religious conversation where we learn how to appreciate each other's perspectives on things.
Right.
I love that kind of work.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of my favorite things.
Same.
So yeah, and for me, of course, y'all know my favorite bit of the store is going to be the herb bit. It's what I talk about for literally hours every week.
Yeah.
The 3-year program.
That's a good chance or opportunity to mention too that we'll be carrying some Magus herbs at Mind Body Spirit. So for people in the St. Cloud area watching this and you need herbs, but you don't want to come all the way down here, you can just come on over to St. Germain and fix them.
We'll get you set up with a few things, like just in pre-weigh bags. So we'll be there, you can just grab what you need, and it'll probably be like our top 20 sellers is what I'm kind of envisioning. If you want as many as 20, there might be 20 there. But things like roses, lavender or lavender, which is really, they wouldn't have called lavender had it been crossbred 100 years earlier. It was just crossbred in the 20th century. So we can't call it some kind of lavender.
It's trademarked.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's like it's a cross between lavender and spike lavender. That's all it is.
Oh, okay.
It's just a cross, and it smells like lavender. Most people wouldn't know the difference because it was just called, some other kind of lavender, like spike lavender is. But it's okay. We'll let the botany people lose their minds with that. I don't mind. They can do it. So things like roses, things like anything that is a big seller for us is probably what you guys will start with. And then as you figure out what sells well for you, we will trade out.
We'll figure that out as we go. Yep.
So, thank you. We're doing the packaging now. It's adorable.
It is.
And I want to give a shout out to Liz, not this Liz, the other Liz. All the women who work here right now are named Liz. Because she has put her art to great good use, designing those wonderful labels that you guys up in St. Cloud will get to see. And I don't know if we'll see them down here. I have to be honest. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
But and sometimes having some pre-weighed herbs out here is useful and helpful, but not always. So we'll see. Maybe you'll get to see it. Maybe you'll only get to see it online. I love that. So you guys, there's 2 of you who bought the store, a couple of us bought the store, and then you've got Nancy.
Yep.
Is there anybody else up there working your personalities?
Well, we have our readers. I mean, we have 2 readers that are highly intuitive, do medium work. Paulette Lucas and Druma Silva. They're wonderful. We have Paige Berry who does astrology and tarot readings. She's fantastic. She's helped me learn my birth chart. I mean, I just didn't realize there was so much more than just a sun sign. And that's like, that has been incredibly helpful. So she can read the whole chart. She can do a couples chart. And then we have Ren, and she is our Reiki lady. And so she's there. You can look at the website and find information on the readers and how to reach out to them to make appointments. And they're really very flexible. So.
And did they do their readings up in the classroom?
Actually, no, we have a reading room in the back of the store, so it's more private. So there's a door they can close and it stays relatively quiet back there. So, but
for those of you who have not seen the shop, I'll just give you a little visual tour. It's a cute little shop. You walk in and the ceilings are super high. Like they could be here if the building had been well cared for. And because of that, there are tapestries that hang on the walls more or less permanently, and then with little signs that tell you what color variations. There are, of course, the cases and the shelves that you would expect to find, but also on that store floor is a little square turning staircase that goes up to a second floor that's like a half floor, and that's where the classroom is. And it always makes me smile that because it's not walled off, there's just a railing.
Right.
So it always kind of picture like Renaissance Festival-esque where they go up to the second floor and they're leaning out the window and they're teasing the audience. I always think of that because it's kind of how it's set up.
Yeah.
Perfect view of the floor if you're up by the railing.
Yep.
It's just a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And the bathroom is still super cool. You have to, even if you don't use the restroom while you're there, you have to check the bathroom out. It was painted way back in Mary's day and when those two were running the show.
Right.
But it's fabulous. And you have to read this scrolly writing that goes like across the room and through a spiral. And it's just cool bathroom.
Built-in reading material while you're hanging out there. You don't need a newspaper.
That's right. But it's a beautiful story. So we're seeing Justice being a gorgeous place.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
It is delightful.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think that any other wonderful questions about my body spirit. Well, actually, what was the accident that got you guys into the business?
Oh, accident is a really good word for it. Well, I went through a divorce and moved to St. Cloud the beginning of 22. Had to been, yeah, 22. And I started going to yoga right away. I mean, I had been going through a crazy level of awakening and really summer solstice in June 21. I just had this huge shift, and my marriage was struggling, had been for some time, and I pretty much put an end to that. So when I came to St. Cloud, it was really raw. I was really skinny. I was really stressed out. I was really, trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do now, because at 3 years old, it's an incredible shift in my life. And I started going to Shanti Yoga in St. Cloud, and I just felt very directed to go there. I mean, I was driving by and they had a wooden sign on this marquee with all the businesses on it. It's not lit up. But when I looked at it, Shanti Yoga was like it had a beam of light shining on it. And that's where I met Eric. And so we didn't start dating right away, but we were in some breathing workshops and stuff together, for people who had gone through a class. And a few months later, he asked me out for tea. And a few months after that, he told me he thought I was woo as F word, and he adored me. That did it for me. That was all I needed to hear. So, but I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I didn't really want to go back to teaching. But within 24 hours of getting to St. Cloud, I was at my God Spirit. I knew I needed just to soak up the vibes, and talking to Joan, who was working at the time, and she told me that data shop was for sale. So as time went on, we were getting closer to that date they're going to close. I was complaining about it to Eric, and he finally said, well, you don't want to go back to teaching, why wouldn't we just buy it? And I thought it was crazy. I'm like, no, I'm not doing retail. But the idea would not leave me alone. And that was on New Year's Day, I want to say. And we ended up closing on the shop that June. So it was like 6 months. Joan and Mary made it super easy for us to be able to buy the store. Because we had, certain limits on our resources, and so they made it easy. And so yeah, it was. Sometimes I'm still like, wow, I don't know how I got here. I mean, this life is so very different from what I was living before, but it's wonderful. We have a lot of fun, and the store's just gaining more and more traction as we're making some shifts and what we offer and learning more about what people are looking for. So that's how we ended up in it. I mean, Eric's still working full time. He's not at the shop very often. He's just his shop can't quite support us both yet. So that's why he doesn't know how to do the till and stuff. He hasn't had to be there that much, but it's still, we have a good balance, I feel like, right now. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. And that's a great origin story. I love that idea that as soon as you got to town, you found a physical outlet for what you're going through, and which I think is so important.
Oh, yeah.
To get the stress out.
You have to move that energy around.
Super important. And then making connections with people that you can talk to about your spirituality, that will listen to you and not like, these guys are.
Right, exactly. You don't want people clutching their pearls, you just don't want to scare people like that. But yeah, they're like you said, people come in and they have poltergeist activity, or they just are noticing energetic shifts around them at work or in different places, and they don't know what to do about it. So,
Or they're suddenly being hit with imagining things and then they're happening the next day.
Right, exactly.
I
Yeah.
think I might be psychic. So
Yeah.
there's actually, look, am I psychic or am I making it all up? There's actually a book for that. Or I'm interested in that kind of thing.
Right.
And there's some wonderful materials out there in that, and I'm always happy to talk to people, as I'm sure you are.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. And then people come in with like, they'll all of a sudden be in a meditation and a past life memory comes up and they like, I don't know. I've never really thought about this before because in ours we don't really talk a lot about reincarnation and past lives, but that's very valuable work to do.
Yeah.
We've had, you know, the opportunity to dive in on some of that and it's really been helpful to me.
And I'm going to be very blunt and honest here. I don't care if the past life was real. I
Yeah.
actually don't care. The important thing to me is your experience of it and how it informs your life today.
Right.
And so if it really was your past life, great, fabulous, wonderful. If it was not your past life, but it's your subconscious going, hey, would you pay attention to this other stuff over here, please?
Right.
I don't care.
That's how mine is helped. I was seeing my past lives, I noticed the pattern really quickly of not prioritizing my own well-being, not speaking up when I needed to, or in some of those lives speaking up and not being listened to.
Yeah.
And in most of those lives, I was a female, and historically, we haven't done a great job of
Listening or caring for.
Right. So, you know, so when people come in and they'll have a lot of fear around their spiritual practice that's emerging, most potentially they've had them.
Yeah.
Somewhere in their memory, they know that there was a trauma that they paid a price for their, you know, for exercising their gifts in the past.
Yeah.
And so we get very anxious about, you know, using those gifts now, but we're not, you know, we're not in the same time frame. And you can work internally on healing some of that pain and letting some of that stuff go.
Yeah.
But so that's how it's helped me. That's the biggest way it's helped me is just to see that. Oh, I don't want to have to come back and try this again because I keep making the same mistakes. No, this time I'm going to break that wheel and I'm going to do something different. So yeah.
No, I love that when people get hit over the head with it, it can be so intimidating and so scary for so many people. And
Yeah.
Have resources, have places to go.
Right.
And ways of figuring out how to express it. I had clients, for example, who are overwhelmed by a past life that has just completely bombarded them.
Right.
And they can't control when it interrupts their life, and that's scary. It's like, I would like to drive undisturbed. I would like to grocery shop undisturbed. Okay. Let's set you up with some tools that help you curtail and help control when and where and how you get interrupted so that it's productive for all parties involved.
Right, yeah. And for people who are beginning, their intuition is, you know, the dial's turning up.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to manage the voices come. I mean, they know they're interacting with something in the spiritual plane. They don't know how to handle that. As people open up more and more with this awakening, they're becoming really empathic. And they don't know how to protect their energy.
Yeah.
You know, how that helped me. One of our readers to kind of figure that out because otherwise I'm, you know, taking on other people's energies that come through the door. And so, no, it's not. I mean, and then, like, you know, some of the solutions to those are really simple.
Yep.
But if you don't have a language even around, you can't even describe really what's happening, then, yeah, so.
You're at a loss and you've got to figure it out then.
Right.
And I will say, many of us do as children. If you get over the head with something as kids, then oftentimes we don't discuss it.
Right.
Because it's so far out of the norm of what you hear that you're socially learn enough to go, you know.
Right. I'm not going to bring this up. I'm not even going to think it out loud. Yeah.
So I mean, even in those cases, there's still like work to be done with like giving yourself permission, letting down the barriers,
Right.
and figuring out when, where, and how to do that
Right.
becomes the focus for people who maybe have had that gift for a while, but have like shoved it in the back closet of their mind, or just don't discuss it because it's weird and scary.
Right. And some people are they're worried about it being evil or something, you know, that their spiritual implications are really negative. And it's like, no, that, you know, we're working our way out of that fear, but it's still, there's still, you know, people can still carry it here, even if society's starting to open up to some things.
Yeah, exactly. So there are some safety precautions that you can build into your practice, I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I also think understanding that if you're open to everything, yep, that's like having a conversation with every random stranger that walks by on a street corner, busy street corner. Let's not have that kind of.
Right.
Let's figure out what it is to look out of the window. Don't even open the window. Look out of the window and see what the world looks like out there.
Right.
Then you can make some other decisions about who you want to invite in to talk to you.
You're right.
So I think, yeah, protection during psychic work. And then, of course, it comes up at this time of year because this is the time of year when people like to say the veil is the thinnest between this life and the next. When these things become a little bit more the focus of anybody with any of these talents. And those talents express themselves in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
You might hear things, you might see things, you might have a gut instinct, like a feeling in your gut. Those are all valid.
Mm-hmm.
And because the person next to you doesn't have that experience, doesn't make their experience any less
Right.
real or
Exactly.
worthwhile. So figuring out even what kind of psychic energy you work with best, how you receive it best, that can also make a huge difference in your own talents.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, there's a lovely book by Llewellyn on 6 different ways of being psychic, so that you can figure out which methods might work best for you. And it's a really nice book. I'm going to recommend. I'm going to mess up the name, but it's absolutely. You should take me. We reorder it frequently, frankly, for our psychic book section. And yes, it covers 6 types of psychic abilities. So
I'll have to look for that because we work with Llewellyn too. So
Yeah.
I'll have to look at the next time I order it.
I'll see if I can get you the exact title when we're done
Yeah.
here, which we are getting to wrap up. Sorry, folks, but it was good to see everybody. And we have to go up with the secret word of the week. What is the secret? The secret word, by the way, if you mention the secret word to somebody on staff, and I put a little note by the register so they know, for the rest of the week, you do get a little discount on your things. I should also mention, with our new point of sale system that has only been in place for like a month and a half or so, it no longer supports the red bag policy that we had in the past. So instead, it has a point system that translates to cash for future purchases. So you do want to get in the system because you may as well get credit for all of your purchases. And we've already gotten people who've racked up like $10. So it hasn't been in place for that long. So go for it, in my opinion. But we need a secret. What's a good secret word? Let's make the secret word say it loud.
That sounds awesome.
We'll see if we can get some folks up there for some fun stuff. I had a great time teaching the herbal magic class up there. Hopefully we'll do some more.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll have some fun up there.
Yeah.
I even, at one point, I think, I ever had clients come down to see me from St. Cloud, or we set aside time when I saw clients up there, I think.
Oh, okay.
I've done that in more than one location, so I can't remember the St. Cloud, which way it went. But yeah, it's interesting, and it's a fun town. It's a conservative region. I want to tell you now, be selective about your t-shirts. Unless you really want to get into an argument with somebody. But it's a fun town to be in, and it's always been a town that's been very supportive of, surprisingly supportive of different groups of people, as conservative as the general area is. Like, this is dating myself, but when I was in high school there were 2 NA bars. There were 2 bars for high schoolers.
Wow.
Yeah. They lived and died during my high school years, I'm gonna tell you now. They overlapped a little bit, but they both lived and died during those high school years. But I mean, it's that kind of innovation that I think St. Cloud is good at.
Yeah.
And sort of embracing, let's just try it, let's see if it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of their philosophy, I think. But with that, I wish you all a wonderful week. Blessed be, and I will see you tomorrow for the short on herbs and here at the shop and online.